and welcome to a Christmas special of the Paper Soprano podcast. There's really, honestly, though, nothing special about this episode. It's pretty much going to be very short, and yeah, sorry, but that's just how it is. So, yeah, you guys, today's Christmas. So, if you celebrate Christmas, Merry freaking Christmas, you guys. And if you do not celebrate Christmas, Happy Friday. So there you go. And yeah, so it is actually about 10 o'clock p.m. on Christmas Day. And it has been quite the day. As you know, it's COVID time up in here. So basically, this Christmas has looked very different than previous Christmases. I keep clearing my throat. I will tell you about that in a minute. But, basically, Christmas is over. Everything was fantastic, wonderful, amazing for, the circumstances. And it was great. And got to see some fam, which I know is a lot more than some people can say, which is great. And I am very grateful for that. So, okay, God, I have to address this. I don't know if anybody experiences this, but when I get the hiccups, which I did get the hiccups today, I got them recently, probably, sorry, oh my God, probably within an hour ago, but when I get the hiccups, it is the most unpleasant, most upsetting experience that I can describe to any other human. And basically, what happens to me is that every hiccup insinuates almost like a burp, but some really just extremely tense, jarring, visceral explosion. And then, I get that every 30 seconds or less, more frequently probably, for the next who knows how long. And then weirdly enough, also, I can pretty much always count on when I get the hiccups, I will get them again at some point that day. So within a 24-hour period, I will get them at least once more if I've had them at least once that day. Never will I just get the hiccups once. It'll be oh, here you go again, randomly another time. And I don't know, guys. It's really, really excruciating for me, and I'm not kidding. The reason why I'm clearing my throat so much is because today, when I had the hiccups, the, convulsions that I was having were so intense that I started, coughing because of how much, my epiglottis was, retching from these hiccups. They're so intense. I'm super not exaggerating. They're the most intense, physical sensation that I have involuntarily. Some people, love sneezing. Sneezing is great, honestly. Don't have any problems with sneezing. Some people, experience those involuntary things and are oh yeah, that's fine, whatever, hiccuping is whatever. For me, it's literally awful. And I don't know why it's so bad for me, but even now I feel I'm fighting off the sensation of hiccuping. Does this happen to anybody else on the planet? Am I the only one who vehemently hates hiccups? Because I feel I'm oh no, I have the hiccups. Oh no, I have the hiccups. And I get so upset about it because I know it's going to be a whole ordeal. It's so violent. I don't know. Is anybody else experiencing this this upset in terms of hiccuping? Because, ooh, girl. But anyway, so that's why I'm clearing my throat, because I had a coughing fit, which, girl, as a vocalist, I refrain from coughing at all times, because if you know the anatomy of coughing, it's basically your vocal folds are slapping together quickly with a lot of air pressure underneath, trying to get something off of them. Because if you're choking or whatever, you're trying to get something out of your windpipe or get it off of your vocal folds or your epiglottis or whatever. So the whole mechanism is kind of thrust into this survival mode when you're coughing. And that's great, gotta stay alive, and that's what it's for. But also from like an instrument point of view, I would never like expect someone to be okay with like slapping around their violin or like slapping around their Stratocaster, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's my instrument at the same time, so obviously I have to stay alive. But at the same time, it's like, oh, I'm trying not to put any undue stress on these two small flaps of tissue that are the basis of my art and my career as we know it. So, trying not to do that as much as I am right now, clearing my throat and coughing. But it is what it is. So, that's kind of been my evening/afternoon. It's been very wonderful. We've had a lot of great food. I made some bomb-ass charcuterie boards for this evening's festivities, which, were great, and I love a good charcuterie board. Although, as someone who doesn't eat meat and dairy, it's like sometimes preparing those foods, like cutting up a sausage or like cutting up salami or cutting up cheese, it's like, oh my god, like the smell and the texture, it's like, ooh, girl, yuck. So, but making a charcuterie board is very fun. If you are yet to get on the charcuterie train, I highly recommend. Do it. It's a very fun, creative outlet where you should feel free to just throw a bunch of crap on a plate and be like, wow, I have missed my calling as a charcuterie artist. And I guarantee that's how you'll feel. So, not that you're going to be making a charcuterie board for like a large amount of people. Like, literally, it was the same thing for this. I was making both of them. They were both small, but I was making both of these boards and being like, oh god, this is a lot of food for not a lot of people at all. So, but it's the thought that counts, you guys. It's the thought that counts. That's how it is with everything at Christmas. And speaking of the thought that counts, that brings me to gifts, which, I never know how to express how grateful I feel for gifts that are given to me during this holiday. And I love giving presents to other people and seeing their reactions. And I feel like I'm such a bad reaction giver when it comes to like getting gifts that I actually really, really love and enjoy. Specifically, two of them. One of them was a Beatles songbook that is more of like a history book that goes into detail on each of the Beatles discography, like each of the songs within the discography. So I find that really interesting, and I think that that's a really excellent project, because the excerpts that are included in this book are not very long, so I think it would be beneficial to listen to each of the songs that are listed, which are also not very long. Usually they're under 3 minutes, and to read these little excerpts, and I think that could be really informative. There's a lot of good stuff in there already, and I love a good book. So it's an excellent combination of these two things. And another amazing present amongst, I can't remember everything, and like there are so many wonderful little things like socks and food prep containers and little plants and little things that I love so much, but I can't talk about every single one. Maybe at some point I will, who knows. But the one that is really exciting for me is I got a new microphone, you guys. And this is so exciting because I am using a microphone that has been borrowed from Stony Brook, and I have borrowed it for the semester, and I intend to return it soon. And in the end of my loan of this microphone, I definitely have hoped to have gotten my own before I got rid of it, obviously, because this is a good microphone from my own very limited experiences with microphones. But, it's super exciting to have like a really nice microphone, and I can't remember exactly what it was. It's a USB mic. It's not anything super fancy, but it has like a stand and a breath guard on it, like a little thing. The thing. That's the little circle with like the mesh on it, and it's like, oh my god, you're so fancy. And I love that. And a lot of extra little doodads that I will be looking into. So that's really exciting for me, and I'm very grateful for all of the things that I have in my life, and also these things that I am now given from my friends and family, and it's very great, excellent, and I'm very grateful. And it is around 10 o'clock at night, so I'm not going to speak much more on this podcast right now. I'm glad that the coughing has subsided. Have you noticed? Thank God. Oh my God. We love that for me. So, yeah, whatever you guys did today, even if you don't celebrate Christmas at all, like, I hope you had a good day. And I know that this holiday season looked very different from what it normally looks like. But, we take it as it comes, and that's just how it goes. So, that's it. And it seems very contrived and weird to say it, but, like, it's so true, and you learn something from every experience. And, yeah, the thing that I feel like I'm taking away most from this holiday is that I'm just very grateful for a lot of things, and it, like I said before, it seems really cheesy and like contrived to say that, but I am convinced that the more that I say it, the more I will really genuinely feel it, as opposed to be like, oh my god, I'm so grateful for things, like, because obviously I am, but there is a certain level of cheesiness that comes with that statement, and it takes a lot of self-understanding and real just wokeness, that comes with actually being grateful for things and really feeling that and not just saying it. So, yeah, I'm working on that, and that's kind of how I feel right now. So, I am going to cut this podcast a little bit short. I know the past 2 days have been a little bit short, but I hope that you understand. And we will get back to our regularly scheduled chats ASAP, girl. And that's just how it is. But we've been a little bit busy the past couple of days, which has been a nice, refreshing change. So thank you so much for listening to this abridged podcast, this 23rd episode of The Paper Soprano. 23 is actually my favorite number. Oh my god. It's a sign. Also, I just had this very big moment of realization. I just realized that when I started this podcast, I had called it Podmas, like Merry Podmas, because I was going to do an episode of the podcast every day until Christmas. And here we are at Christmas, and I don't know if you got this vibe or not, but I'm pretty much just gonna keep doing a daily podcast, until I don't feel like doing it anymore, and then, we'll go from there. But I hope that's okay. Hope you're okay with that. Hope you're not mad. But I like doing the daily podcast. I think it's a nice moment of reflection and a nice, chat I get to have with my friends and listeners who are out there listening, as you do. And yeah, I know it has been Podmas up until this. I haven't really addressed that or talked about it or called it that, but it has been from the beginning if you've been there since the beginning. But yeah, it's just going to be regular old daily pods from now on. So buckle up, you guys. And yeah, if you like this podcast, if you are interested in hearing more or you want to support this podcast in some way, leave a like, leave a comment. I love responding to comments and just being like, oh my god, yay, somebody's like hearing this. And I'm like, yes. And subscribe to the channel and let me know that you're there so that I can provide, you know what I mean? Like I'll be here doing this anyway, but like if you're here and you let me know, like that's a really cool thing and we can have more of a connection that way. And I think that's really special. And I'm getting a little sentimental because it's Christmas. So yeah, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I hope you had a really nice holiday and you have a great new year coming up. Fingers crossed that it's going to be better than 2020. I'm sure it will be. So yeah, just keep your chin up and we can do it. We've got to just get through it one way or another. So yeah. Anyway, hope you had a really nice day, and I hope that you have a great morning, afternoon, evening, or night whenever you are listening to this podcast. Thank you so much for being here. This has been episode 23 of the Paper Soprano podcast. I am your host, Heidi Schneider, and I really do love you, and I mean it. Okay, love you, mean it, and bye-bye. Okay, bye.